In today's video, we're going to be taking a quick look at the month of October because today is October 1st. We need to talk about the entire month. We're going to be going over the upcoming storminess in the first half of the month, the total precipitation and total snowfall during that time period. We'll take a look at the near temperatures over the next 10 days, and we'll also be taking an extended look all the way into the midpoint of November. Now, first things first, we can see the remnants of Ian, a storm that is finally said and done here. We can see this is located here over the mid-Atlantic at this point. I'm in Virginia. This storm caused a lot of havoc here, and we're very far away from where the worst impacts were, so that just shows you how strong that storm truly was. We do have a storm over the Rockies here, and this is creating some snowfall here in portions of Wyoming and Colorado there. As we move on towards October 2nd, which will be Sunday, we see that there is some storminess still left over from Ian, but not a whole lot over kind of the Rockies here in the Four Corners states. We still have some storminess, but it is going to be a quieter pattern overall. And as I just move on with this, we can see little flare-ups of storminess here. This is on October 4th, but for the most part, it is going to be, like I said, mostly quieter here as far as temperatures are concerned. Now we do see that Ian has kind of went back over the ocean. It becomes a little bit more like a nor'easter over time, and this does lead towards some coastal impacts here in very far southern and eastern New England. We see that this trough here, this is where the jet stream is located. We're going to have a bit of a storm here that is going to pull this trough really far south, and we'll see something more like this in just a minute. So let's take a look at this. Arctic blast pours in around Thursday, Friday time frame. That's going to be August 6th or October 6th through October 7th time frame here. And we have these storms kind of horseshoeing around the jet stream here. So we're seeing this as well at the same time. There's quite a bit going on here with this huge Arctic blast that we have here in the eastern United States. But overall, the storminess is going to be a bit quieter. We do have another storm system kind of in the south here for the 10th, 11th time frame, but again, nothing too crazy. We can see there's a large ridge here in the western United States and then a big trough in the east. So we see the warm air is surging here and the cold air is blasting over here. This Arctic blast into the eastern United States. Now, this is a positive PNA pattern, which means that warm temperatures are forcing the cold air to go around this big bulge and kind of head into the eastern United States. We've talked about this time and time again this year because it's been the main thing that has been causing us to receive colder temperatures in the east, especially over the last month or so. We've had, maybe I would say a handful to even a dozen Arctic blasts already. They have been quick, not the most potent, but for this time of year, I would say they were very potent. And we've had quite a bit of that going on because of this pattern. Now, as far as total precipitation, it really shows how quiet things are going to be, which I know everybody at this point will take quiet, so it's not necessarily a bad thing unless you're in a drought-stricken area here, but we really don't receive that much precipitation over the next 10 days. If you're anywhere in the whites, we expect none, matter of fact. In the grays, we expect about a tenth of an inch or less of precipitation. Your greens will be a tenth of an inch to half an inch. Your blues will be half an inch to an inch. Your yellows will be an inch to 2 inches. Your reds will be 2 to 5 inches. And that's the highest we really get here. We could see that a couple areas here in the Mid-Atlantic get those reds, and then the Four Corner states as well. Now, total snowfall here, if you're anywhere in the grays, you expect a dusting. If anything, your blues will be 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Your purples will be 6 to 10. Your pinks will be 10 to 20. And then your pastels will be 20 inches plus, and we see a lot of this happening here over the Rockies, so we're starting to get more and more snowfall in these regions as we're now looking towards the midway point of October. This is, again, of course, only going to continue to increase. And also, look at this, interior northeast, very far northern woods here of our New England states and the northeast states receiving their first little bit of snowfall during this time period. Super interesting stuff here, guys. Definitely a sign of the times that we're really approaching the wintertime here. Now, as we take a look at this temperature pattern, we can see we're already in an Arctic blast here in the eastern United States. But as we move on towards the 2nd tomorrow, we see cooler temperatures around again. But for the most part, it's a little bit less widespread. The 3rd, though, we do get more and more of this up and down the East Coast, as you can see, October 5th here. It's the same story, a lot of warmth for the west and the central United States with just this cooler air over the eastern regions here. It's by the 5th that we can see this next major Arctic blast rolling through. So this is about to head down into the eastern United States, definitely packing a punch. By the time we reach the 6th, we can see that a clear cold front is developing somewhere. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a low up there as well. And this is just quickly blasting into the eastern United States. Cold front's probably about here right now. This is the true definition of an Arctic blast, as this very, very potent Arctic air mass moves in quite promptly as well. And again, positive PNA here, allowing for all of these things to occur this way. A bit of an eastern ridge. This is going to end very quickly, though, as this cold air is going to rush in. As you can see, by the time we reach the 8th, that warm air is gone, and we have this big time cool down sitting over the eastern United States again. Saturday the 8th, Sunday the 9th, it's still around. It kind of gets reinforced here by the 10th, so we're seeing it cold still. And that is the end of the model run, but we see these continuous Arctic air masses moving into the eastern United States. It makes you wonder if this is going to be the trend heading towards the winter, or if we'll see a flip at some point. Definitely something to look into and keep track of, because that is a very interesting thing to think about. Now, as we take a look at the extended look, we're going to be taking a look at 5-day increments here. And as we can see, over the next 5 days, we expect warmer temperatures here for a lot of these areas, and then cooler temperatures here in the eastern United States. So a lot of these areas receiving cooler temperatures. As we move on towards that next 5-day period here, you can see that we do have, again, warmer temperatures in the west, cooler in the east. It just continues on this way, so probably more continuous Arctic blasts happening through this time period. As we move on towards the 10th to the 15th here, so we're kind of getting beyond our previous model here at this point, we can see that it is the same story. A lot of warmth here in the western United States and Canada, for that matter, and a lot of cooler air here sitting tight here for the eastern United States still by the 10th to the 15th time frame. Definitely interesting to see how long this is held on. Now, by this point, things get a little bit interesting. We start to see a negative PNA perhaps, which really creates the opportunity for a lot of this warm air to head into the central United States. But there is still some cooler air here for the Northeast especially, but really the entire eastern United States. It would be interesting to see if a pattern like this would set up if this was the case. Let's take a look at the 20th through the 25th, and it's a lot of the same neutral or cool here in the eastern United States and the western United States, and then pretty much warm in between there. As we just take a look at the 25th through the 30th of October, we can see it looks almost identical. We have this cooler air here along the western regions of North America. The Central Plains areas are receiving mostly warmer temperatures, and then again, the eastern United States receiving these cooler temperatures around here. It's as we take a look at the 30th through the 4th of November that we start to get a little bit cooler here in the eastern United States again. So we're kind of taking a look at an extended look at this point. But it's interesting to me how quickly we turn back into a very cold pattern here. By the time we're reaching the 5th through the 10th of November, this model full circle brings us back to this cooler pattern in the east, warmer pattern in the west. Super interesting to see something like this set up. As we take a look at the 10th through the 15th, which will bring us to the end of this model run, you can see we're neutral in the west, but still cooler in the east. Can you imagine if we receive an actual cold fall time in the eastern United States? I feel like it's been like 30 years since there's been a cold fall in the eastern United States, but September started off on a very, very cold note. October so far looks to be cold, and as long as late October and November cooperate, it could be just a straight cold fall time, really, for a lot of the eastern half of the nation, which is something that if you would have told me a couple years ago would be occurring, I wouldn't really believe you, because it's been so hard to come by as of recent years. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this video, or you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to subscribe, as I do upload weather videos daily. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, and leave a comment down below with your thoughts. I'll see you guys in the next video.